Okay, so it is currently about 6:30 p.m. on a Wednesday, and I've been bored out of my mind all day at work. And to reward myself for that, I guess, I was looking on Facebook Marketplace and found a pair of football boots for sale that I'm really interested in and that I want to go check out. And I've been messaging with the seller. He agreed to sell them to me for a relatively low price. I lowballed and he accepted that. So I'm going to go try these out and make sure they're legit and everything. And yeah, hopefully I'll be coming home tonight with a new pair of football boots. All right, so it's a little loud, but the shoes have been secured. Got them in the bag, and I'm just gonna take the train home now. Okay, so a bit of time has passed since I actually bought the football boots. It is currently Friday, and I just got home from work and changed. I was feeling like maybe the best way to actually show off the shoes and to test them out was to go to the pitch and see how I like them. It's sunny outside, it's a beautiful day. Just finished a long week of work, and I feel like there's no better way to sort of round off the week, the work week at least, than with just sort of a decompressing session of some footy. So yeah, I will check back in with you guys at the field and show you the new boots. Okay, so I'm currently out at my local park for the football pitch, and there is a high school game going on it. I think it's high school. So we currently do not have access to a pitch, unfortunately. However, there is lots of open green grass, and I still have nothing better to do. So I think we're still going to try to make do with what we can and hope that this game ends relatively soon so that we can at least use the pitch for a little bit. Yeah. So inside this bag, I have the boots that I just purchased off of Facebook Marketplace for $50. And here they are. This is a incredibly bright pair of Nike Tiempo Legend 5s, which are a boot that came out in like 2013, I want to say. So over 10 years old, which is crazy to think about. This is the first ever top-end boot that I had. It was a Tiempo Legend 5. This is actually a Nike ID colorway. This was never officially released. It is like as you can see, a very bright volt with some light blue accents. And the like silver tongue that some of the top-end boots used to have from Nike back in this era. But when I saw these being sold in my size, 8.5 US, I knew I had to have them because they are such a nostalgic boot for me and something that I really love. It's one of my favorite ever boots that I've worn. They're super comfortable. They're really flexible. They're really just easy to wear. So yeah, I'm gonna put these on feet and try them out for a little bit now. So as someone who grew up watching football YouTube and football boot YouTube, I feel like it is mandatory to get sort of these close-up shots of the boots when you're trying to show them off. And obviously, as you can see, this is kind of a horrible place to do this, unfortunately, because of how long and dead the grass is. But I guess on the plus side, these shoes are so bright, it's impossible to miss them. And right after that, I just wanted to get straight into getting some touches on the ball in the new boots. I think the first thing I noticed, ironically, is that I really couldn't notice the boots too much on foot, apart from the obviously incredibly bright colorway. The touch and feel of them was just so natural and so seamless, and honestly just so familiar to me that it felt kind of just like second nature putting them on and getting some touches on them immediately. I think also one of the immediate things I noticed was how secure my foot felt in the heel of these boots. I don't know if this has anything to do with the fact that so many contemporary boots by all of the big brands do this sort of one-piece construction with a knit or elastic collar as opposed to a traditional tongue. But for whatever reason in these boots, I just felt a lot more secure and a lot more connected to the sole plate and the heel of the boot, which was something that was honestly refreshing, and I guess I hadn't really thought about it in a while from wearing more contemporary boots and more recent releases. And I think honestly it's something that now I'm going to be thinking a lot more about every time I put on a pair of boots, because putting these back on made me realize that you should be able to feel completely locked into a shoe, and you should be able to feel completely ready to go when you're playing. And right here, when I finish getting off some incredible basketball moves, I get back just to testing my touch and feeling the ball, and again, really just super happy with the way these were performing, and honestly with the way they were looking. I am usually someone who wears more low-key boots. I went through a big phase of just loving completely blackout boots, and have since transitioned to really appreciating simple whiteouts or predominantly white boots. But it was kind of refreshing to go back to wearing something so bright and honestly a little obnoxious. I used to be a big fan of the brighter boots when I was younger. I think that's probably a pretty typical thing with younger players, but have since sort of gotten away from that. And yeah, again, maybe it's just the nostalgia talking, but it felt nice to go back to my 14-year-old taste. Okay, so I've been playing in the shoes for about 30 minutes now, and it's weird to say because it's not something I think about a lot in terms of like what my shoes feel like, but they are objectively feeling very nostalgic to me. Which again, super weird for a pair of football boots, right? But I mean, wearing them weirdly does take me back to like playing travel football when I was like 13, 14 years old. And I don't know, it's kind of a comforting feeling, kind of a nice thing. And I think in terms of how the boots feel, I hate to be one of those people, but I think they truly they don't make them the way that they used to. I feel like leather boots in particular are a dying breed, which I can like understand, in terms of what it takes to craft them. But at the end of the day, I think there's and I've said it before on this channel, I don't think anything truly beats the feel of a pair of leather football boots. And so it is kind of nice to be able to relive a feeling that I had long ago. In terms of touch on the ball, I think these are so nice. I'm going to try to get some touches in while I'm talking, which might be a little challenging, but I don't know what it is. I feel like the toe box on these is pretty low and not very plush and padded feeling. It gives you more of a very clean touch on the ball, not a lot of distractions, which I think is really nice. I know I really do like the Tiempo Legend 9s, but ultimately they don't. They do give you a much thicker feeling. Alright, so the end of this video is super scuffed, because as you can probably tell by the angle and my lack of breath, didn't exactly end how I thought it would. I abruptly stopped filming when the high school game that was going on ended, because I wanted to get on the field and get a goal, sort of claim it as quick as I could. And at the same time that I started rushing over, a group of about 20 guys showed up and started getting on the field and gradually started taking it over, which resulted in them eventually asking me if I wanted to play 11 aside, pick up with them. And to be honest, I wasn't going to say no. I wanted to play. But it did mean I wasn't really able to film myself wearing the shoes, because I don't have someone filming me, unfortunately. We're not quite at that level here. So I got in probably about a full half, 45 minutes or so of play in the new shoes. And what I will say is two things. One, completely unrelated to the shoes, but I am so out of shape for 11 aside right now. Oh my gosh. I was started to die. And two, the shoes felt awesome. Felt like I'd been wearing them for months, maybe even years. I did not notice a thing. They felt perfect. Passing felt crisp. I was playing, it's kind of like a number 8, and didn't really get any shots off, unfortunately, but was passing and moving the ball quickly and cleanly. And yeah, just overall a good time. And really enjoyed it. So, sorry the ending of this has been a little scuffed because I just ultimately wanted to play more than I wanted to get more footage of me just juggling the ball. And this is like a totally scuffed way to film this. Maybe I'll do some closing remarks on the shoes when I get home and have recovered and feel less like my heart is about to explode. So yeah. Okay, we are now back home from a night of playing pickup in the new football boots, and I really enjoyed playing in these. I think that they're just super soft. Unfortunately, you can see they're already starting to get a little bit of turf marks on them and just general dirt, but I can clean that up. These are just super soft. The quilted leather in the front is just so comfortable and feels so nice on the ball. And these were really, really fun for me to play in. They remind me of playing competitively back in the day. And I know that makes me sound old, and I'm not that old. I'm only 23. But it does really bring me back to the days where I was young and I was really just playing without thinking of anything else in life. I think honestly, if I learned one thing today, more than anything else, it's that I really just need to be playing more and more organized. I think, sometimes, to be honest, I struggle with organized commitment in leagues and stuff like that. I don't know why. Maybe that says a little bit more about me than anything else. But I think one thing I noticed about my game today is that, and this is something I know about myself, I'm someone who likes to keep the ball moving quickly. But with that, especially when you're playing at like a casual level and people don't move the ball as quickly, it just means you kind of get less touches on the ball. And so, I'm someone who kind of just, I like playing. I like scanning the field. I like reading the game. You don't always need to be on the ball for that to happen. And there's 11 other people or 10 other people on the field that you're sharing the ball with, in addition to 11 others on the other team. So you're not always going to have the ball. But I could probably have handled to have a bit more touches and just appreciate these that little bit more. But overall, amazing shoe. Had a fun time tonight. I wish I had been able to get game footage. Maybe next time I play, I will drag someone to the field with me and force them to film some highlights of me passing the ball around, because that's usually what I do. Just kind of just hang around the midfield and keep the ball moving, because that's what I like. But yeah, good shoe, good night. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time.